Hi there guys, welcome to Rate My Gloves Goalkeeping. My name's Craig, and I know that I'm not joining you from my car normally. The last couple of videos have come from my car. However, training has been cancelled today, so I won't be able to show you what gloves I was going to be training in. But I have got a few gloves here to kind of show you and to kind of share with you my obsession of goalkeeping gloves. The first pair of gloves I'm going to show you is just a throwback from when I first started playing in goals. These were actually the first type of gloves that I actually had, and last year I believe I got the opportunity to get them again, so I've got them again. So these are these ones. They're called the Sports Syllabus red goalkeeping gloves, and to be fair, the only reason I started wearing these when I first started playing in goals was because one of my favourite goalkeepers was wearing them, and I remember begging my dad to buy them. So we ended up buying them, and there was nothing but good memories. I have bought them again, and all I would say to goalkeepers is that if they went out and bought a pair of gloves and they've loved them and then they think, oh, I want to get them back, just stick with the happy memories. That's all I'm going to say. Stick with the happy memories. They're not what I thought they were, or they're not as good as I thought they were. However, for the age they do still perform pretty well, but they're not as good as, say, the newer models with your contact latex. It doesn't, they just don't stick as well as other ones. But yeah, so the reason why I wore this one is mainly because Alan McGregor wore them. If you don't know who Alan McGregor is or was at the time, he played for Rangers during his first spell, and these were the first gloves that he wore when he broke through into the first team at Rangers. Moving on, let's go on to the next pair. So the next pair is actually a pair that I kind of reviewed earlier on, is the Era gloves. Now, this was actually the first pair of gloves that I got that had no wrist strap. Okay, well, you had a replaceable wrist strap, which has become now the main theme. Now, the idea behind this glove, it looks a bit weird that both sides have latex on it. The creator of this, Sean Murdoch, created it to be a reversible goalkeeping glove. So the idea was you play on one side, it gets worn, you then transfer it over to the other side and you get wear out that side. So effectively you've got twice, you don't have to pay twice the amount of glove. Now, in a previous review, there was slight ripping in the gussets in between, which is what kind of put me off these gloves. Other than that, they were actually pretty good and I enjoyed playing and wearing them. Except for the wear and tear issue that I felt that it wasn't going to last as long. But again, it's a good memory of what could happen if you try and just think a bit outside the box. Gloves have kind of went similar ways without getting rid of the main wrist strap now and replacing it with other types of wrist straps. Moving on again, because I know this is going to be a really boring video because it's going to be about 5 minutes long if I kept on going through all the gloves I've got. I've only got a sample of them, and you'll see how big a problem with gloves I have. My wife absolutely hates it, and I have a whole chest or a whole cupboard dedicated to my goalkeeping gloves, which she absolutely hates. But this is my next one, so the Adidas. Now, these ones I bought only because Manuel Neuer wore them, and he seemed to be doing pretty well at the time, and I'm nowhere near the standard of Manuel Neuer, but I thought I'll give them a try because he seems to be advocating them very, very well. These are now a few years old. You'll see that he's now wearing the latest up-to-date Adidas goalkeeping gloves at the moment. There's a bit of controversy because the way that he wears them is different from, to include the wrist strap, when now later models are trying to move away from having a wrist strap. But again, I remember having these, and actually I still even train with them today. They're really good and I enjoy wearing them. They're not contact latex, so that's probably the last glove that I wore before contact latex became a main big feature. But it's still a good glove and it still works well for me, and it allows me to swap it out and stop all my other gloves from wearing out, which means I can get enjoyment out of them all. Move on to this next one. This was just a gimmicky type goalkeeping glove. So the Evo Disc. It's a bit of a weird one looking at it back. So again, this was walking away from the wrist strap, trying to stop having a wrist strap, and you actually tighten up by this little disc here, which the novelty of that really, really caught my eye. As for grip and other parts, they weren't as good grip wise, but the novelty of buying that was the whole point of getting it. And I believe when they were brand new, they were over £100. So if you could get over the novelty of that, you had quite an expensive goalkeeping glove that didn't actually perform as well as you wanted it to. But again, it was a good goalkeeping glove. I enjoyed my uses out of it. The fact that it had this little air pocket so you can breathe, so your hand can breathe out of it. But other than that, there was some really good technology that went into that, and now, as we know, that wrist straps are kind of becoming less and less of a thing now going down the line. It's shown that goalkeeping gloves are always trying to evolve.